Today, as I look at my country, Nigeria, and try to find answers to her challenges with democracy and governance, I pay special tribute to one of the great minds in broadcasting, a man who for nearly 3 decades gave his life in service of his country through journalism. Brian Williams, as you all know, was until Thursday the 9th of December 2021, signing out at about 11:59 p.m. Eastern, the anchor of 11th hour on NBC. Hear her colleague Rachel in these farewell eulogies.
Tonight you should watch Brian Williams. Tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, it is Brian's final broadcast here at NBC. Brian Williams has been with NBC and MSNBC for nearly 30 years. There is no one like him, and he has been here from the beginning. He was here in the anchor chair when MSNBC first opened its doors, day one in 1996. That was it. And tonight will be his last night. Whether you have followed Brian his whole career, or if you've just become a fan of the 11th hour, his absolutely brilliant, witty, insightful, emotionally compelling, snarky as all get out, incredible show that he does here right now, whether you've only become a fan during the 11th hour or you've been a fan from the beginning, you should just know that for all of us in the building, as we say, it's in the proverbial building now, but for all of us, his colleagues, Brian stopping his show is a really, really big deal. Having the opportunity to share a desk with him for major news events has been not just an honor for me, which it has been an honor, but beyond that, to tell you the truth, it's how I have learned half the things I know about how to handle the responsibilities of the big desk. Brian Williams, in all candor, is a great guy. He is a great colleague. He is incredibly generous. He is as hilarious a person as I have ever met in any context. And on the 11th hour, he and that excellent staff of his, they do one of the best shows that has ever been done on cable news on any network. And tonight he is finishing. He is dropping the mic. So again, thank you for indulging me here for a second, but it's a really big night for us here at MSNBC and in the whole NBC family. Brian Williams is a big deal. His decision to step away is a really big deal for all of us. And I will just tell you, please do watch the 11th hour tonight for Brian's final broadcast. You will be glad that you have done so.
There comes a time in a man's life when you take a break and look back to see how far you've gone. And I believe this is one of such times when a country like Nigeria, a country reputed to be the largest black nation on earth, Africa's largest economy, and of course you all know that it is said that at least 1 out of every 5 African is a Nigerian. And the question is, how far so far? Now we've gotten to a point in the life of our nation when both the young and old no longer feel proud to be called Nigerians. And I can assure you, up to at least 80% of Nigerians are not proud to be called Nigerians. And so that's the issue I want to talk about today on Around the World. My name is Martin Sobo, your brother, and I'm sure glad to be with you. I'm going to take a short break and I'll be back.
Well, look at the time. I'll try to keep this brief. After 28 years of peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my choice now to jump without a net into the great unknown, as I do for the first time in my 62 years. My biggest worry is for my country. The truth is, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist. I believe in this place, and in my love of country, I yield to no one. But the darkness on the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar and the bowling alley, at the school board and the grocery store, and it must be acknowledged and answered for. Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution, elected by their constituents, possessing the kinds of college degrees I could only dream of, have decided to join the mob and become something they are not, while hoping we somehow forget who they were. They've decided to burn it all down with us inside. That should scare you to no end as much as it scares an aging volunteer fireman. To my coworkers, my love and thanks, and I say again, everyone I've worked with has made me better at what I do. To my family, love and thanks doesn't begin to cover it, but now I have the time to better express it. My friends know who they are. No one's been blessed with better friends. To the guests on this broadcast, as you heard the nice man say a few minutes ago, it's always been about you. Otherwise, I'd be staring into the camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and nobody wants to see that. You are the 11th hour and will continue to be the 11th hour. This is where I thank you, however, for being so great, for explaining these last 5 years. As a proud New Jersey native, this is where I get to say regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. What a ride it's been. Where else, how else was a kid like me going to meet presidents and kings and the occasional rock star? These lovely testimonials that I can never truly repay make me hyper-aware that it has been and remains a wonderful life. It's as if I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning in Bedford Falls. The reality is, though, I will wake up tomorrow in the America of the year 2021, a nation unrecognizable to those who came before us and fought to protect it, which is what you must do now. My colleagues will take it from here. I will probably find it impossible to be silent and stay away from you and lights and cameras after I experiment with relaxation and find out what I've missed and what's out there. Every weeknight for decades now, I've said some version of the same thing. Thank you for being here with us. Us, meaning the people who produce this broadcast for you. And you, well, without you, there's no us. I'll show myself out until we meet again. That is our broadcast for this Thursday night. Thank you for being here with us. And for all
As
my
Brian,
colleagues at the
in his
networks
emotional
and NBC
farewell
News.
closing, laments the bitterness and politics full of conspiracy theories and lies in his country, the United States. I am equally pained with the increasing lack of direction in the leadership of my dear country, Nigeria, and indeed many African countries, as the world continues to battle the economic crunch thrown at us by COVID-19. Together with my colleagues at Blue Rose Media in Washington, D.C. and Nigeria, we wish Brian Williams the very best in his future endeavors. So for a country reputed to be the largest black nation on earth, and as they say, Africa's pride, the largest economy on the continent of Africa, to be so heavily indebted, not just to the World Bank, but of course one of the 10 most indebted nations to China, and so many other international organizations. Not to talk about the local debt. The question is, what has Nigeria done with the enormous resources bestowed on it by God? It is said that Nigeria boasts of the highest number of doctorate degree holders in the world. There's a list of a whole lot Nigerians as individuals have achieved all over the world. But back home, unfortunately, there's not much to show for it. There's insurgency, there's terrorism, and of course, our brothers and sisters who live overseas are now so fearful for their lives, thinking about coming home. We've been talking about foreign direct investment, and the question I want to ask is, if you were not a Nigerian, what would you be looking for in a country like Nigeria? What would be the attraction for you to bring in your hard-earned money to invest in the economy? All right, good people, great nation, yes, on paper. Of course, Nigerians are indeed great people. But the question is, how well has our government done over the years? I was watching a video recently, and that happened to be a news by TVC, Television Continental, where one of the Minister of State for Budget and Planning had visited the University Teaching Hospital, Port Harcourt, to realize that of over 900 million naira disbursed to set up a special center, an ICU unit, and a whole lot, that nothing was found there. That's just one of the numerous challenges and problems facing the country. Lack of accountability. For every individual who finds his way or her way up the ladder in government, the focus is not on what legacy they are going to leave behind, but how rich they end up after service. And so you as a Nigerian, young and old, are you really proud to be a Nigerian? I'm most probably sure that you would say no. And why is that so? It's because we have collectively failed, both as a people and of course our government over the years. So my fellow Nigerians, are we all just going to sit down, fold our arms and give up without a fight? I don't think so. And do you think that the answer to our problems will be for everyone to exit the country? I also refuse to agree. The recently concluded governorship elections in Anambra State has actually shown us the power of our vote. And so what do we need to do now that 2023 is around the corner? Ensure that you participate actively, not as a thug and not as an election rigger. Be a participant by going out there to cast your vote. Don't just cast your vote. When you do, stay back and ensure that your vote is counted. So that if at the end of the day, the result announced from your own polling booths does not correspond with what you know to be the outcome of the election in your polling booth, you can now have a stand to come out and protest and say, no, this does not represent what happened in my locality. So this is just the beginning. We have seen also what happened with the NSAS protest, that there is strength in unity. And if we come together, we can turn things around and make Nigeria the country of our dream. So till next time, I remain Martin Sobu, and I'll see you again. Remain a good Nigerian. Bye now.